As the third largest apple producer in the U.S., Michigan apples are crunchier, juicier, and more flavorful than anywhere else. You may be wondering, though, how do these Michigan apples grow? What's the process like to get from orchard to your grocery store? It takes a lot more than you might think, and it all starts during the winter.
My name is Matt Rash. I'm the manager at Ronald Rash Farms, grower for All Fresh. Pruning during the winter season, you do it during the winter, you wait for the trees to kind of go into a dormant state so it doesn't hurt them as much. You prune for several reasons. In younger trees, you start off pruning to kind of keep the tree growing. Once your trees come into production, you kind of change your focus into growing the apple. One of your main factors that you're doing is trying to open up the tree to allow sunlight throughout the whole tree. One of the big rules you're looking for is anything that's in competition with the leader, which is the trunk of the tree. Trying to just eliminate big limbs, have smaller limbs in there for better fruiting wood. Those are orchard right wind machines. It's basically a big windmill taking warm air from up top and shooting it down below. In the springtime, once you get down below 28 degrees, the buds and the blossoms and the fruit itself become susceptible to cold, frost, actual damage and killing of the fruit itself. So we've been able to change the temperature down by the ground floor up to 5 degrees with those.
The trees stay dormant for the winter, now primed and ready for the spring. And once spring arrives, the life of an apple begins.
We're in bloom right now. Springtime, the trees start coming out of dormant. Still waiting on some of them to get all the way through the process. So, as far as the pollination process goes, we bring bees in every spring. Without them, we wouldn't really be able to get the pollination.
Bees are one of the most crucial parts of growing apples, responsible for pollinating multiple varieties of apple trees. The bees collect pollen on their legs and carry it to the other trees across the orchard. Without bees, this pollination would not occur, and apples would not have their classic size, shape, or color that we enjoy today.
King blooms is basically there's 5 blooms. The king bloom's the one in the middle, and there's usually 4 surrounding ones. The king bloom will open up first. It's generally the first one to pollinate, and it's also generally the biggest. It turns out to be the biggest apples. As far as the bloom goes, obviously you want nicer weather. The sunnier and the warmer it is, the faster things will move along. When you start getting into the pollination process, once again, better weather leads to better bee movement. When it's cold and rainy, the bees don't like to work as much. You get a nice sunny morning like this, and the bees are going to start coming out and start moving. So the better weather during bloom and pollination, the better pollination and fruit set you're generally going to get.
In the summer, fluctuations of warm days and cool nights are responsible for giving apples their signature bright colors. Then, as summer turns to fall, it's time to harvest.
Pat Goodfellow and own PG Orchards LLC. I'm a 5th generation apple grower, so my grandpa planted trees 40 feet by 40 feet. You didn't have as many varieties that you were dealing with back then, so we moved from the 40 by 40 to, I remember, a lot of 20 by 20 plantings. We are down to 12 by 3, 11 by 3 plantings now. A 12 by 4 planting is around 950 trees to the acre. 12 by 3, 11 by 3 is in that 13 to 1600 trees per acre. We are just entering the fall season, which would be the start of harvest. We bring in around 40 to 50 guys, and we pick from roughly the first part of September to the last part of October. To know when an apple's ready to come off the tree, you have your degree day models. We go through, the Michigan State University has a website that we go through, and that'll get you close. But as you get different soil types, crop load of the tree, how you trim the tree, everything's going to be a little different. We do starch tests on the apples, and we use a refractometer to test the Brix levels in the apples. And your pressure test, as you cut a section of the apple out and you stick your pressure tester in there, and that helps us tell when they're mature and how well they will store. The bins behind us, there's roughly 850 pounds of apples will fit in each bin. At 50 bins to the acre, you're roughly 40,000 pounds of fruit per acre comes off.
The apples are now shipped out from the orchards to either a storage facility or to one of our packing plants. This is the final step in preparing the apples for shipment to customers.
I'm Caleb Van Timmeren. I'm the plant manager here at Elite Apple, and we are a packer for All Fresh GPS. So the apples come in on a truck either from storage or from the orchard, depending on the time of the year. Then they are put into a cold storage, which we keep at about 34, 35 degrees. We bring it out, it goes on the machine, which you guys saw the dumper, picks up the box, brings it over and dumps it in. It then goes through a brush bed, which polishes the apple, and scrubs it clean. Then enters the wax, which puts a nice shiny coat you see on the apple and makes it look nice, and preserves it a little better. Every apple has a natural wax on it, and as you wash it in the whole process, it takes it off. And so this kind of reapplies it and protects it from bacteria and any other foreign matter that could harm the apple. From there, it goes onto the sorter, which it hits an individual cup, and each cup carries an apple. And from there, it goes through an internal and external grader or sorter machine. So each apple is based on the size or defect or color of the apple is dropped in a specific location. Whether it goes to the bags, they go in a 3-pound poly bag maybe, or some sort of packaging. All the bags work by weight. They get weighed once as they go across what we call the MLS or the main line. And then when they go to the bag lines, there's also another weigher there. So each one's weighed according to, if we're doing a 3-pound bag, 3 pounds of apples dropped. If we're doing 5-pound, 5 pound is dropped. But if you go to the store, you'll see the display with all the bags on, and then where just the bulk fruit or the trays are set aside. From there, they get packed, put on skids, put in the cooler. We try to pack to orders. So as we get ordered, we'll pack up that certain product, and hopefully it ships out, within the next couple days. It's the same back there as in the receiving cooler. It's about 35, 34 degrees. And so the product, stays pretty fresh the whole time it's packed up.
Cleaned and packaged, the apples are now on their way to grocery stores everywhere to be enjoyed by you. As you can see, there are many steps to growing our famous All Fresh apples, ensuring quality and perfection with every bite. At All Fresh, we take pride in this long process, working closely with our dedicated growers to create our world-famous product. All Fresh, always service, always quality, always fresh.